So it goes to home video. How long before then you get your next job, which is the wedding singer?
So meanwhile, Adam was having his career was going in a really good way, and I was determined not to come to LA without a movie because I knew everybody was a director, and Adam had seen the movie and loved it, and I remember he had his agent see it, and they're like, "Oh, that's cool," you know, and the fact that I did a movie, Adam couldn't wait for me to direct his movies. He had done, I think, Billy Madison by then. He called me up and said, "I'm working on a comedy album. You already made your movie. Come to LA, come for 2 weeks and help me with the comedy album." And it was an album called What the Hell Happened to Me. So I wrote on a bunch of skits. I acted on some of them. And then I did a music video for one of the songs. It was Steve Polychronopoulos. It was kind of a precursor to The Wedding Singer because it was an 80s bully. But it was all about 80s wardrobe, stonewashed pants and the bi-level haircut. And I shot this video, and I didn't realize, like, all eyes, because Adam was just starting to really excel. Every bigwig in town came to see who's this Frank Coraci guy directing the video, and I'm just loving it because I'm getting like real equipment, and you know, and it had like all the comedians that were friends with David Spade, Rob Schneider, so many interesting cameos. It was like David Arquette, Gary Shandling was in it. So it's this really fun, crazy, silly video. And then on the album, we did a 23 city tour. The album went double platinum. It was like one of the biggest Sandler albums. So it was a good little run where I literally came for 2 weeks and I had a bag of clothes for 2 weeks, and I didn't stop working. I got an editing system in our house. We had a house in Beverly Hills, and I was like editing all the videos myself. I'm like, this is great. It's like film school again. I'm like, this got me 28, something like that. And I'm like, I can't believe I'm getting to like live with my friends, shoot stuff, people are really seeing it, edit. I'm like, this is a dream come true. And then we did the 23 city tour. Like, it was a rock and roll tour with a bunch of Adam's comedy songs. So like the Hanukkah song, he did a bunch of other songs like the Halloween song, Piece of Shit Car. A lot of the ones you know though, like the Turkey song for Thanksgiving. And I did sort of very inexpensive, I came up with the stage design. It was an outdoor drive-in movie in the summer, and it was like beach balls and all this stuff. And I had the set designer from his movies do the set. And I had a screen, and on the screen I would do things like, there was a song about grandmothers. So I got a bunch of grandmothers, shot them on green screen, dancing with spatulas. And then I took like contact paper from like, like grandma contact paper that you'd put in the kitchen.
Oh, yes.
Like really corny pattern.
Right.
And I green screened them again. It was like this weird, it would be inspired by like a Pink Floyd drug video, but it was just silly comedy for stoners. And then the other thing is we had a skit that, like, it was a super stoner skit that everybody loved. There was a talking goat. And the talking goat, these 4 stoners come across this talking goat in Van Nuys tied to the back of the truck. And they're like, "Oh shit, a talking goat." And Adam did the voice of the goat, like, hey guys, why did you untie me? I'm kind of bored here. And I played the old man who used to beat the goat. And so that skit was the most popular one. And I was like, oh, I got to film a goat for the concert because the kids love it. When I say kids, they're like 20-something-year-olds, and we're 30 at the time. And so the goat opens up this show, and people go nuts. And then I bring him back a few times. And New Line had seen the show, and they were like, "We want to do a talking goat movie," and we're like, "Oh, that's cool." But like, we were thinking of doing another movie though, and then we pitched them. I wanted to do a movie that was an '80s movie, and Adam and Tim had come up with an idea for a wedding singer who gets jilted and has to perform weddings after he got his heart broken. And then I said, Adam, let's make that 80s, because then you can sing songs and it won't look like you're trying to be cool. It'll be a little retro. It'll take the curse off. And he said, great. And then we pitched that. And it's funny because it was 1995, 96. We're pitching an 80s movie. And people are like, 80s? That was 6 years ago. And I'm like, no, trust me, like, we dress different. Like, I have the same clothes from 6 years ago. I'm like, trust me, no. And then, like, sure enough, I learned my first thing not to do in Hollywood. When I was pitching the producer, I go, think of how in Dazed and Confused, the 70s was a personality. And then the producer was like, Dazed and Confused made like $10 million. Why would you reference that movie? And I'm like, no, just how cool it was. And I'm like, oh, I get it. You just got to reference movies. When you want to get money, you have to reference movies that make a lot of money.
Okay. All right, that's a good note.
It didn't translate. I was like, no, it's how cool. All right, I get it. It's like the Titanic. No, that wasn't out yet. So anyway, so we pitched that, and they loved the idea. And then we kind of worked on a script, and then Carrie Fisher, New Line, hired her to spend time on the script because she was such the script doctor for romantic movies. And I just got to LA, with my gym bag. I'd only been there for a few months. And next thing I know, I'm at Carrie Fisher's house. I'd have to go to her house every day when she was writing. She would literally lay in bed and write. She would watch TV. She'd be like, let's watch old movies. And then I'd literally be laying in bed with Carrie Fisher going, I can't believe I'm in bed with Princess Leia. Not, just working,
right,
nothing. And yeah, we'd watch these old movies, and she showed me all these great old romantic comedies, Roman Holiday, like you name them, Breakfast at Tiffany's. And then we would write, and it was great, and we got to make this amazing story, and then Drew signed on, and before you know it, I'm like, all of a sudden, I'm like, wow, I still have not gone home. I still have this bag of clothes, and I'm directing The Wedding Singer, and I remember the first day pulling up on Sunset. The house we shot was with the old lady with the meatballs, Rosie, and it's the first time I'm driving the set, right? I'm driving my little rental Honda Civic. And I'm like, why are these trucks here? I'm like, I'm used to making a student film. We had one truck. There was like truck after truck. And this is a low budget movie. It's like a $10 million movie. I was so intimidated by the time I walked to set that there was all this equipment. I'm like, I need some dolly track and a camera. I didn't know you need all this. But I jumped right in and I just did what I knew how to do. And I realized, oh, now I have a lot of crew. When you change things, it just happens fast. And when we made that movie, we had no idea it was going to hit. Like, it was a little low budget movie, and it just blew up in a whole different way. And then I thought, now I'm fucked, because now I can't make all those little weird movies.
Why? Because you thought now you're going to be pigeonholed?
Yeah. And I was like, I kind of want to make. And then actually, the funny thing was, I was like, come on, we're on a roll. Let's do The Waterboy. So The Wedding Singer didn't even open. We made The Waterboy. So in the middle of doing The Waterboy, The Wedding Singer opened. We flew home for the premiere. And it was like, wow, this is great. Now there's no pressure on The Waterboy. Like, they gave us more money and time. We didn't feel like, when you're making a movie, you have a gun to your head with budget. But I did find it for a long time. I was pigeonholed. I had so many little movies I wanted to do, and I'd be willing to do them for no money. And it was, once they put you in that box in Hollywood, it's hard to, and I didn't know enough about how the business works to figure out how to make the little movie. It literally took me 10 movies till I got to make another little indie, and all along I'd been wanting to, and the movie I just made now, Hot Air, it took like 7 years to get that together. The little ones are really hard to get going just because, it's always talent driven, so you have to find a piece of talent that wants to do it.
How did you get clearance for all of the songs in The Wedding Singer?
The Wedding, well, platinum soundtrack, by the way, and they were really easy because most of them were one-hit wonders. So they cost, I don't know if you know what songs cost, but they would cost like $5,000. There is Jersey, greatest.
Bon Jovi?
Bruce.
Oh, Bruce. Okay. Sorry.
The Bruce Springsteen song, and like $250,000 for that song.
Oh wow.
I mean, when you go for the classics,
right,
they're $250,000. But all like things like White Wedding and especially some of the ones you haven't heard since then, they were even more one-hit wonders.
Yeah.
They were like $5,000 a song, which relatively cheap at the time. So it was a really lucrative soundtrack. If I didn't have a piece of that, that was my first movie. But I have a platinum record on my wall.
That's so cool. Did you all work together in terms of what songs you really like Video Killed the Radio Star?
Yeah, I was an 80s new wave kid, so I had all the music. Adam had his, we both grew up on the same music. It's funny, I went more edgy and he went a little more commercial. And we did, the one thing we all often battle on is music. And then in hindsight, I look back and I'm like, it's a perfect balance that if it was all me, it would go too edgy. And if it was all him, you know, like, so we, like the song that I remember, there was a Hall & Oates song. And I was like, I want Haircut 100. That was more 80s. And you know, now when I watch it, people love the Hall & Oates song. So, but like The Cure, all that stuff, the
Susie and the
Smiths,
Banshees.
that was me. I was like new wave. I had like
Right.
blonde hair, shaved. I was that kid. So I was
So
like,
was I.
yeah. Yeah, no Susie song in there. But
No Susie and the Banshees.
I
So,
know. And we wanted Prince to open with 1999, but he wouldn't give any rights away. And also When Doves Cry was supposed to be in the club scene, but David Bowie said yes to China Girl, which was a real honor.
That's great.
Yeah, that was fucking cool. I mean, Prince, David Bowie, win-win.
Sure. They're both not of this earth. and
Yeah, they're both
like,
beyond.
Yeah.
Miss both of them.
Yes.